Alright, now let me make this video. I want to talk about the Bigupping of China, okay, that you've seen some of these people do. Particularly here on YouTube, the BGS Ignore. I mean, this guy talks about China as if the Chinese are like these gods that are invincible and that are just destined to take over the world and start running and controlling the world and leaving the West behind in the dust. Well, if you actually look at if you actually break down and you look at the facts, it's actually a very different picture. First of all, people always talk about how big the Chinese army is. I say the Chinese army has what, 1 million foot soldiers or whatever. They talk about how they have, they talk about their navy, how they're expanding their navy, and they are expanding their navy. Don't get me wrong, but the problem with it is that the Chinese navy is still not a blue water navy, and the problem with the whole, okay, they got 1 million man army, foot soldiers, is that because of the one-child policy, they don't actually have replacement for their soldiers. So if you kill one, he has no replacement. Okay, so yes, it is a big army, but you understand, it's an army that they have to be very careful with because they do not have, demographically, they do not have the ability to sustain any significant casualty. That's why I believe they haven't had any, you haven't really seen China getting involved in any major ground conflicts. Okay, because they know that they have that vulnerability. Okay, now as far as the Navy, okay, they are expanding their submarine fleet. As far as I know, they're getting more nuclear-powered submarines, and I think they're even getting some ballistic nuclear-powered submarines, meaning submarines that are capable of firing nuclear missiles from under the water, which is a huge strategic thing for any Navy to have if they want to consider themselves a superpowered Navy or a blue water Navy or whatever. But at the same time, they're basically at stage one when it comes to their aircraft carriers. The Chinese aircraft carrier, the one that they have, first of all, they purchased it from the Russians, and it's an older carrier. It's actually very small. Okay, probably barely even half the size of a U.S. carrier, and it's not even really combat deployed. They basically are just using it to train their personnel how to operate carriers, period. Okay, they're not even really it's not even really able to be deployed into combat. Meanwhile, the U.S. has 10 operational carrier battle groups stationed all around the world. They can get to any hotspot that is needed if they need to provide air support or air cover for military operations going on the ground by the U.S. forces or U.S. allied forces. Okay? So, when it comes to the Navy, the U.S. has China beat at the moment. Okay, when it comes to the ground forces, U.S. ground forces officers and enlisted, because of the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts, they have more operational experience. Like I said, the Chinese army hasn't had a major ground conflict, I think, since the 1970s, and that was with India, I think. India or Pakistan, I think India. Okay? That was the last time the Chinese had major ground military operation. That was a long time ago. Okay? Add that to the fact that now India is now trying to cozy up to the U.S. because their relationship with Russia is now diminishing. So they're trying to ally with they're trying to cozy up more to the U.S. India and China are rivals. Okay, in China having what, 1 billion people, India having like, China almost like having like 1.5 billion people, India having like a billion, like just 1 billion, I think. But the fact of the matter is that India is really going to be what the bulwark against China would be. Okay, before China even faced off with the United States, they would have to face off with India first. Okay, and India does have operational aircraft carriers. I know for a fact they have. I'm not sure when the last time, but also, you know, the last time they had a major ground conflict, I think, was also in the 1970s with Pakistan and also China. Okay, but like I said, this idea that China is just this invulnerable thing, you know, China will have to take care of its rivals in its own region first before they even think about dealing with anything with the United States. You know what I mean? And that would be just on principle. The first thing they would have to deal with would have to be the other nations in their region that they're rivaled with or whatever, what have you. You know, before they do anything with the United States. And they're going to have to get a blue water navy, and they're going to have to get some experience for their ground troops. They're going to have to do something somewhere where their ground troops can get some type of experience, some type of operational experience. Because if you put them in a ground conflict with U.S. troops who have been, you know, who are now deployed in Africa and deployed in different parts of the world, you know, they got all this experience, it's not going to go well for the Chinese. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to figure out some kind of way to get experience for the ground troops. They're gonna have to figure out some kind of way to get their aircraft carriers up, okay, and to be able to project power, and also be able to keep the U.S. out of the South China Sea and out of the waters around China. Because right now, the U.S. pretty much has free reign in the Pacific right now. The U.S. Navy. Okay, also, Japan, which is also an ally of the U.S., they got to deal with Japan too. But Japan also has the ability to make nuclear weapons fast, and have, although they don't have a big military, they have a military that's big enough to at least be a tripwire to them. Also, Taiwan, which is also cozying up to the U.S. more. Okay, and I think Taiwan does have a number. Taiwan just ordered a number of American-made submarines. Okay, to counter China. Okay, again, these are things that the China worshippers are simply not talking about. They're not talking about these things. You know what I mean? What have you? But anyways, leave comments. Get the likes up. Let me know what y'all think on this issue. I just want to get that out there, get my opinion on it before I go. But let me know what y'all think. Peace. Thank you for watching.